Howdy y'all, welcome back to another episode of How Can It Be with Allie Johnson and... Oh, it's just me. Are you guys sick of me yet? If you are, do not say yes. That will hurt my feelings. Okay? I'm hoping that you've been having a truly wondrous day. I will say my day just barely started about maybe one single solitary hour ago. So things are feeling a little bit early for me right now. But I will do anything necessary to be able to be a little bit of a part of spreading the good word and the good news, okay? So I know that that's the only reason why I'm alive right now. And why I was able to get out of my sweet, sweet, comfy, warm bed is because this word needs to be shared. So consider me here sharing it, okay? If you're new here, this podcast is all about glorifying God in the everyday, good, the bad, and the in-between. And we start out every single episode the same way, just by talking a little bit about little ways we've seen Christ in our life the last week or so. And since it's just me here, I suppose I'll start. You guys, in my notes app, I wrote this. Don't worry, it's not about to be a monologue, but I just wrote this. Jesus moment, ... maybe this or maybe this. So, I don't know, maybe I'll share both of them throughout the episode, but I think this is the one I'm gonna do today, okay? Because on my flight home last night, okay, maybe I should go back a little bit. I went home this last weekend for my little sibling's last day of school, and every year they throw a huge pool party, and my mom helps them throw it, obviously, because they're teenagers, and so they need a little bit of adult supervision. And last year, my mom flew me out to help her throw it because somehow these kids just convince every single person that goes to their high school to just come to these parties. And so they get 60 kids to come every year. I don't know about you. I don't know what kind of parties you guys are throwing, but that feels like a lot for us. And my cute mom, Charlie, cannot handle those 60 kids by herself, nor should she have to. And so I come out and help her now every year. It's a little tradition we're making, okay? So I went out and I helped her throw that party. That was on Monday, and then I just came home late last night. And on my flight, I'm boarding my flight at 11 p.m. I don't know if I was boarding it at 11. I actually don't really remember anything that happened last night. I'm just here right now, so that's really good news. But I'm boarding my flight late last night, and I get in, I sit in my aisle seat, and the thing is, actually, I'm going to be preferring a window seat, but it's fine because I'll take anything over the middle seat, and that's actually real. But I'm sitting nicely in my aisle seat, not all the way in the back, so I have nothing to complain about. And the flight attendant walks right past me. She's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything's good, thank you, whatever." And I'm just listening to my music, but I turn it down a little bit just in case they need to be speaking to me or anything. And I hear her go to the lady behind me, and the lady asked her to reach something for her. And the flight attendant's like, "Yeah, girl, let me see what I can do for you with my super short, stubby legs, okay? We'll see what I can reach for you." And this lady, 5 rows behind this whole interaction, yells to the flight attendant and is like, "No, you don't, girl. You got long, good legs, okay?" And the flight attendant is disoriented, looks around to see if she's even talking to her, and then she's like, "Oh, well, okay then, thanks," and it was just so funny, everybody around just giggled, it was just a funny interaction. And it just made me so happy. And the thing is, I've been thinking lately, and I am pretty sure I just kind of like feeling happy. Like, given the choice between feeling happy or sad, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be choosing happy. 9 times out of 10 at least, okay? And I just think, like, I think we kind of all do like feeling happy. I think it's kind of a sought after sort of gig. And it just made me think, like, that was such a small thing that some stranger said to the flight attendant, okay? And you know what? Like, I'm sure if she didn't say that to the flight attendant's stay would have still been probably okay. Like, I don't know what happened to the flight attendant that day. But let's say the flight attendant had a horrible day the whole entire day. And nothing went right. And all of a sudden, it's so late at night, you know, like, I'm sure in her head, she just wants to get through the day, you know, like nothing that anybody does is going to change the fact that maybe she's having a bad day. Like, let's say that that was the case. Then I'm sure this one stranger complimenting her long, beautiful legs at least made her smile. Like, maybe that was the first genuine smile she smiled that day. Maybe it's the first laugh that she had. And it just makes me think, like, truly all it takes is one person. All it takes is one smile, one compliment, one moment, one day to change a life. And like, no part of me is saying, again, that one compliment about her legs. No part of me is saying that that changed that flight attendant's life, but maybe it did. And that's the thing, is it's not up to you how a compliment that you give is going to affect somebody. Because guess what? Like, you aren't telling somebody, like, let's say you're in love with somebody. Let's say you're talking to your wife. Let's say you're talking to your husband. You're not going to say that you love them only so that you can hopefully change their life trajectory for the rest of their life that day, because it's just probably not going to all the time. But you're doing it because you mean it and because you do love them. And I think that, like, sometimes it takes practice. Sometimes it is faking it till you make it. But the thing is, like, maybe it's going to change your life if you set out to change other people's. And that's the cool thing about doing this whole life thing with God, is he changes lives. That's actually his whole plan. Like, he sends us here and we come from divinity. We come from goodness. And he sends us here seeking that out our whole life. And I don't think that he sends us here like seeking out this happiness, or like really like hardwiring us to like desire goodness. And is like, yeah, but good luck achieving it. Like, I really doubt that. I really do know at this point, from the trajectory that my life has moved in, I know, and I can say with like a surety that like he wants us to be happy. And like, I'm a living testament of that, because I have had the hard days. I have had the hard months, the hard year. I've had the times where it feels like actually there's gonna be no light at the tunnel. So like, good luck lifting my spirits, you know? And then all it takes is remembering whose you are. Like, maybe you don't know who you are yet. That's totally okay. It's totally okay. I think that takes a really long time for some of us. I think there's some people who are born knowing their identity right from the jump. There's some people that like have that just like ingrained in them from the jump. And then there's some other people where it takes a long time to figure out who you are. And so in the meantime, find solace in knowing whose you are, in the identity shift that will happen within you. Because guess what? Who you belong to, if you really know that, then that will change who you are to yourself. I think it's a little hard to be mean to a person that you know comes from a God. Like, think about this. Like, let's say all of a sudden you meet royalty. All of a sudden you're in Walmart tomorrow, and the person that you pass by in the aisle is, oh, no problem. It's the Queen's daughter. Good luck. Oh, yep, now there's queens and kings in America. True, just created it right now. Let's say there's now one in America or wherever you live. If there isn't a queen, now there is right now. And her daughter just walked past you in Walmart. Are you going to frown at her? Probably not. Probably you're going to be going like this. Oh, hello. Oh, can I help you with anything? Like, you want to be friends with that. You do. You really do. And the thing is, oh, guess what? You actually all are. You all are the daughters and sons of kings and queens. Okay? It's actually true. Because guess what? The King of all kings calls you his. And so you are royalty. Like, that changes the way you view yourself every day. Like, when you catch a glimpse of yourself when you're driving and you just happen to glance up in the little rear view mirror and you catch a little glimpse of your own reflection, that is a daughter or son of a king. So are you going to be mean to that person? That's freaking royalty. Could you be a little bit kinder, please? Please. That's my friend that you're talking to. Yourself. You're my friend. That's what I'm saying. You're my friend. That's what I'm saying. Anyways, we just really all do have such a chance to impact each other. Like, the things we say, the actions that we make actually do matter, you guys. I have tried this thing. Like, I tried when I first went to the airport before I went home a few days ago. When I got there, I made it a goal to smile at every single person I made eye contact with on my way to my gate. And if you know me and you know where I live, then you know that the airport that I go to, truly you have to walk 795 miles, I promise, from security to the gate, okay? And the problem is, it's not that I'm going to be frowning at people, but it will not really be my first thought to be like, to every single person that I pass by at the airport, because truly, I am going to be using the whole airport, that 795-mile walk, as my own personal runway. And I'm going to be having Fergalicious playing in my ears, and I'm going to be strutting. And so I'm not going to be being mean to anybody, but I'm going to be in my head, you're a supermodel. Just strut all the way to the gate, okay? So that was a little bit hard for me. I had to get out of my own way, and I had to be intentional and lock eyes with so many people, which also, what is wrong with all of us, okay? Because tell me why I make eye contact with people, and it's like in that moment we're both surprised that we actually both looked at each other at the same time, and like the fact that we're making eye contact is like kind of scaring both of us, okay? So that was a little bit funny, the shock that people had in their face when I actually looked at them too. I don't know. What's wrong with all of us? We're all on our phones way too much, so that whenever we actually do normal human things, it surprises us. Oh dear. However, I'm making eye contact with every single person that I walked by at the airport. Wow, having strokes today. Anyways, I made intentional eye contact with every single person that I could as I was walking to my gate. And every single time I made eye contact, I just would smile. And nothing crazy, like just like a little, okay? And it was just awesome because there are obviously, like the initial like shock that you'll look at somebody, or people will just assume that you're like staring at them. And so they'll be like, and then what are you going to do when I'm like this? Like, you can't think that I'm just like staring at you to be mean. Anyways, it was so sweet to see all of the people that immediately smiled back. And then it was sweeter to see the people that were shocked at first that I made eye contact with them and who maybe almost expected me to do something mean because maybe their life is in that position right now. Maybe all they can, like the best they can do is expect for people to be mean to them right off the jump. That is so sad, first of all. But that's also why that kind of stuff matters. Like, it was sweeter to see the people that almost went like this. And then as I'm walking past, like, and they realize, oh my gosh, she's smiling at me instead of maybe scowling. Last minute, like, I would see their face change and then like smile and then look down at the ground, And I just think that like, as humans, we could all help each other out a little bit more. Like, we could all remember that in the same way that we need to remind ourselves who we belong to, we also need to remind ourselves who that one stranger that we're passing by in Walmart belongs to. Because they belong to a king and a queen in heaven. They belong to your same king and queen in heaven. And I think that that's just like, it's cool to think about the fact that you have a chance to make an impact, like either by doing something huge or by doing something small. And by small things, great things come to pass, you guys. And the thing is, we can't depend on humans to make us happy. We will be left unsatisfied and even disappointed almost every single time if we wait on humans to fulfill all of our needs for happiness. And you know what? I was looking up how to be happy on Google, and as I'm searching through, I saw this question. It says this: why am I never satisfied? And Google's answer was this: we're just not wired to feel contentment. Okay, that's heartbreaking, Google. What the heck? That is so sad. That broke my heart in half, that we're just not wired to feel contentment. The thing is, let me let you know right now, I so disagree. Because I think we are, first of all, so wired to feel contentment. And in fact, we're wired to feel more than contentment. I think the hard thing, though, is like everybody is in this constant pursuit of joy, right? Long-lasting happiness. The thing is, we have a bigger say in that than we give ourselves credit for, okay? And I think also we forget, like, I think sometimes it feels sad when we feel like we're coming up short every single time. Like, we put too much weight in the circumstances of our life. And we think, okay, when this is happening, then I'll be happy. And that whole idea of I'll be happy when is not a soundproof plan. It's not, because guess what? It's actually not up to you if every single thing in your life goes perfectly. It's not up to you. There's somebody else that holds the plans in their hands. And guess what? I promise you actually want him to be holding them more. But the thing is, I think we all forget that, like, or we feel silly when we feel unsatisfied in our life. But it makes a lot of sense to me, okay? Like, we come from greatness. We came from the pearly gates. That's where we're from, actually. Like, you might be from Detroit. You might be from Nevada. You might be from California. You might be from New York. But guess what? That's just an earth thing. It's just a boop in the huge grand scheme of things. because you're actually from a really beautiful place, and it's called heaven. That's where you're from. That's what you're made of. And so it makes sense that you are seeking and craving goodness and glory your whole life. Because guess what? You were made to want that. It makes sense that if you come from awesomeness, you're going to be craving that, you know? And we can't help it. We can't help that we come from such amazement and wonder. It makes sense that that's something we would crave. The thing is, if we go to the world to feel satisfaction for this longing to feel amazing things come to pass within our lives, we will come up empty-handed every single time. It's because we're looking for this end goal, and we're going in this direction to get it. And it's not our fault. It totally isn't. But guess what? We forgot that when God sent us here, he also sent us with a guide. He sent us with somebody who came before his son. He sent to get to know what this life would be like so well that when you got here, he would be able to show you how to have a good life here and how to make it back home. That's the thing, is you can feel content with this life. You can feel more than content with this life because there is a Father who planned for it to work out that way. And there's a Son who loved you enough to give all of the magnificence he had within him so that that could be accomplished on your behalf. That's wonderful news to me, you guys. It's wonderful news to know that I was thought of before I even was anything. I was thought of, surely prayed over. I was planned for. There was intricate design and effort and intention placed in my existence. And there was a way prepared for me and for you to make it back home to our Father in heaven and his Son waiting there. And I think that that's so amazing, you guys. And I think that still, maybe some of you guys are sitting there being like, okay, that's great. Like, that's great. Like, how do I get there though? Like, what do I do? Like, what am I supposed to do here? Okay. And I think that we are just overcomplicating it, you know, like, and I was reading in the scriptures, I believe this is in John, you guys. I think like this is something we all ask, you know, it says I really need to figure this out. If I had to guess, though, this is John 10, okay? And in verse 5, it says, if it's not that, I'll correct it when I go to post this, okay? Anyways, it says this, Thomas said unto him, Lord, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? You know, I think that's all of us right now, you know? Maybe that's you especially being like, hey, Allie, what way do I go? Like, what do I even do to be able to accomplish this happiness that you're saying that I can have in this life? Okay, and Jesus said back to him, okay? This is what he says. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. And maybe you know those verses already, but maybe that's what you need to be reminded of when all that you have in your brain is this, how can I know the way? Remember that he is the way. And he always has been, and he always will be the way. And later on in John 10, it says this. He is talking all about doors and entryways and where to go and how to be. And he says this, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. And the thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. But I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. And the thing is, I think sometimes we forget that our life was meant to be good, and it was planned to be good to the extent that somebody died to ensure it. God did not send you here to be miserable. And surely there will be times that are full of sadness, and you will still experience grief and loss in life. But the thing is, it will only make the joy stronger and more palpable in your life. And when you know that those moments of grief and sorrow and loss are full of accompaniment, not accompaniment, they're full of companionship. When you know that you're never doing it alone, that somebody died for you, somebody gave his life for you to feel this happiness, to feel this joy. When you know that, it changes the way that you live. It changes the way each day feels as you live it. And maybe it changes the way you treat other people. If you look at your next door neighbor, if you look at your sister, if you look at your cousin in a way that glorifies and honors the fact that somebody died for them, you might treat them a little bit differently. And if you look at yourself every morning when you wake up, and you remind yourself that the only reason you are living right now is because somebody loved you enough to give his life so that you could live yours, you might live your life a little bit differently. The thing is, you were not created to live this life in misery. And there are going to be some things that are out of your hand and that are not in your control. But you are in control of knowing who holds your whole life and who always has and who always will. He's a great planner and a good father. You guys, I went and I saw Lauren Daigle in concert last weekend, okay? And that was what I was going back and forth with in my notes app, was figuring out if I was gonna have the Lauren Daigle concert be my Jesus moment or if I was gonna have the flight attendant be my Jesus moment, okay? But first of all, I got to listen to the song How Can It Be? And maybe that sounds a little bit familiar, those words, how can it be? And maybe it does. Oh, maybe it's because that's what this podcast is called. Maybe it's because I named it after loving and listening to that song, How Can It Be by Lauren Daigle, over and over and over again. I listened to it when I couldn't believe that God loved me. And I listened to it when I believed it more than I ever had, and it applied just the same. How can it be that he could love me? And how could it be that he loves me so much? And that was so special to hear live and to hear so many people around me singing and see so many people with their hands up worshiping. And the thing is, like, it was so special. It was so, so special. And I just, while I was there, I something about me is at every concert, I could know all the lyrics to every song, and I'm gonna like get stage fright even though I'm not the one performing. So I'm gonna be pulling up the lyrics to every single song, okay? And I think that maybe it's gonna be a sweet idea for us to read this one line from one of the songs from the concert, okay? It says this: "He will always have a place for you, a forever home that waits for you. Leave a light on, stay awake for you. He knows just what you're going through. You're the one he wants to listen to every night and every day. He's never gonna change." He never will, you know? And that's because he's a good, good father. They also sang at the concert. I'm swiping out of my app right now and I'm seeing this. And this is a song, it's not by Lauren, but they sang it. And it's called Good, Good Father. But this is what the song says pretty much on repeat. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. And that's just true. And I hope that you can feel that wash over you today. I hope you can remember and be reminded every day, this week, this month, this year, that you belong to a good, good father. And being good is his main duty and job. And being a good father is his number one title, and pride and happiness and joy. And if being our father is his number one source of joy, then I think that being his children should be the number one source of ours. It's so exciting to belong to somebody as wonderful as him. And that is going to be something for me to talk about this week. The excitement, the joy, the happiness that I can feel and I can share every day, because I know that I, Allie Johnson, am a child of God, and you are too. For that reason, I'm going to be better this week at making Christ an everyday topic. I hope you can too. I hope you know that I love you so much. And when that doesn't cut it, I hope you know that God loves you more. That's so exciting. I hope that you have the best rest of your day, okay? You deserve it. Not because of anything that you're doing, but because of what was already done for you. Don't let that go to waste, okay? Enjoy today. Live today like somebody died so that you could live it, because somebody did. And that might help. It might help a little bit, okay? Here's to a happy girl summer. Or a happy boy summer. I'm so sorry. Here's to a happy summer. Love you. He loves you more. Bye.